We're the Wildlanders Off Grid, a family homesteading in remote, rural Portugal. We left our city lives behind to connect with nature and live a more sustainable lifestyle. From growing our own food to learning how to build our own tiny house. And follow our journey as we build a new life for ourselves. Welcome back to the Wildlands, and we're on week 4 of our 40-day homesteading challenge.
Today we've switched tasks. We've come away from the cabin and the nursery and the catio, and we're working on the roof, which is by our shade house, which is basically an open living space that we have here. So we've got a kitchen behind us, and we've got a teeny tiny area over there to sit and get out of the rain and the direct sunshine. So today we're going to put roof panels over here where we had shade material in the summer, so that we have a much bigger area that doesn't get rained on, basically.
So this structure here that we put up for the shade, that was a game changer in the summer, saving us from the sun, wasn't it?
Yep.
And it was like, oh, we've been here 3 years, why didn't we do that before? So stage 2, get the roof on, and then we need to put lights up and make it look pretty. And we're also going to maybe slightly move our wood burner, and we've got a new chimney to put up as well, haven't we?
We have, to take the smoke out of our space. It's only got a little chimney at the moment, and it fills the whole area when it's having a smoky day. So great big chimney structure. I don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to be a bit
rickety,
like being at the Burrow.
Wildland style. And we've got a party at the weekend, so we want to make sure this area is covered and finished by then, so that we've got a much bigger space for people to chill
in case it rains.
Yeah, which is expected shortly. So I don't think it's a very big job. We've got to get these bits off there.
Yeah, first job is to cut these off.
Yeah.
Then we'll lift up a panel and measure it, make sure it's going in the right place, and then screw them in. And how many panels do we have?
3.
3. So we need some gloves.
We do have broad gloves.
They're sharp.
So let's get going. Rustic kind of farmy vibe, isn't it? But basically it keeps us dry, and we've got our rather interesting Professor scientific kind of looking contraption.
Yeah, it does the job though.
It does.
It's out of the way. I jumped up and down underneath it, and I still didn't hit my head in it, so that's a plus. And it's shaded more. It was a little bit longer than we thought, the panels and roof, so it shaded more of the table than we thought, so that's great.
So that means we can get a lot more people at the party in the dry if it should rain.
Absolutely.
And generally means we can now live in this section here. We can be sitting on this side of the fire and keep warm.
Yeah.
And out of the rain.
Yeah. And we said it would be a really quick job, and the only thing that protracted it was some slight niggles with our wood burner. But other than that, the roof went up so easy.
It did. It's like 10 minutes.
Simple job.
Yeah. Game changer.
Brilliant.
Job done. Next job. Back down in the nursery, and you'll remember in last week's episode we put up our shade structures.
Yes.
And this morning the first job we did in the nursery was to take down the supports that we put up to keep it upright while the cement was set.
Yep.
Cement is all rock hard, so they come off, and then a bit of raking to flatten it out, and then we're back on to finishing the borders before we get planting.
Yes, and we're going to show you what new plants we bought to go in them.
Oh, that is exciting. Couple of days since our roof went up, and it's a game changer, isn't it?
It's been fantastic, yeah, really good.
So we've had a lot of rain since we put it up, so that's been literally a game changer, and now the rain has stopped and we've got a sunny but chilly day. We're back in the new nursery garden, and you can see the plants that we've started bringing down.
Lots of lovely plants.
So this is our trees and our berries, but we do have more trees in the nursery garden to still keep bringing up. So what have we got here?
With the trees, we've got a couple of Granny Smiths, because we're obviously only choosing plants that we like to eat. That's quite a fundamental thing about gardening, but so many people forget. They just get chucking in whatever they think they're supposed to grow. So we're only growing varieties of apple that we like to eat. So we've got Granny Smiths, we've got a Portuguese traditional variety. I'm going to murder the Portuguese now. It's called Macera Porta da Loja, and you can eat it fresh or cooked. You start picking them in autumn, so they're a late apple, and they're good for saving through the winter. Yep. So we thought that would be a really good thing to get.
And apple-wise, we also looked at earlies and lates, so that you can have a longer pick off the tree to eat crop.
Absolutely. Then we have a couple of pears. We have a pair of pears. Different types though. We have a Rocha, which is a soft pear, I think, and a Williams Rouge, which are my favourite kind of pear.
And the Rocha, again, is a native Portuguese type, although it is grown around the world.
Lovely. So that's it for the trees. Oh, what have you got there?
Well, here I've got Peruvian lilacs. I'm very excited about them. This apparently is the fastest growing tree for our climate, and we got it from Keela Yoga Farm, quite a well-known YouTuber as well, so really excited about that. And what they've said is if you pinch off the side branches in the spring, then it gets really, really tall. And they said that they have a tree that was 6 or 7 years old and it had a trunk like this, and it was super tall.
Sounds great.
So that is primarily to give us shade and the lovely scent of the flowers as well, so it's not an edible tree per se.
Hi, Bob.
Hello, Bob. Hello, mate.
What else do we have here? We've got some red currants, because they're always good in the understories of under trees. We've got some raspberries. What else? Oh, these are exciting. We chose passion fruits. Neither of us are particularly excited about eating passion fruits, but the passion flowers, before they make the fruit, I'd love to pick and dry for tea, because they're very good in herbal medicines and teas. And we're going to try growing those up and over the shade structure.
Yep. So that's exciting. And then we've also got a gold or yellow raspberry.
Oh.
And the raspberries have got multiple shoots, so I think we'll split them as well. And as I've mentioned before, so the trees and the berries are going on the kind of borderlines of each terrace level to partly provide shade and also to be next to the path and give us a bit of height. So we'll plant trees for the canopies. Obviously it's going to take a few years to grow, and then the berries are underneath. And then we've also got about 100 strawberry plants, dry bare rooted ones, which have now started shooting since I put them in water.
Very exciting. And we've got a juniper. We're going to grow juniper. I've never grown juniper before, but apparently it's very easy and likes climate here. That also came from Keela Yoga Farm. And I've got one to put in the food forest as a trial and one to put up here. And if we're lucky and they're female, we'll get juniper berries, which I could use for flavouring gin.
And you do like a gin, don't you?
I do.
And also down in the nursery to come up to be planted here, we've got some gooseberries. We've got multiple orange trees of different types, again earlies and late, so that's really exciting. We've also got a really large mature orange tree that was a present from your dad.
Yeah.
So really excited about putting that in. That's in a huge tub, so heavy that we can't lift it between us. I'm not really sure A, how we're going to get it down here, and B, how we're going to be able to plant it, because it's in a 65 litre barrel, I think.
Yeah, we can't lift it even between us. In fact, we can barely drag it, slide it along the gravel. So We could probably drag it all the way down here,
Yeah.
but then lifting it out of the pot and putting it in the ground, I have no idea.
No.
I'm going to need a winch.
Yeah, we'll have to get some help on that. And then we've got to find a terrace that has enough depth of soil before we hit boulders that we can get it in the ground. So that's going to be a challenge. So
I think Bob's come to help us.
Bob's come to assist us today.
Going to help us dig holes.
And some of our longer viewers will remember Bob. We've mentioned him a few times before. Bob was living on the land when we arrived, and he didn't speak to us, but he watched us from afar. It took him 2 years to speak to us, but now we feed him and he's very sociable, aren't you?
Not sure if he's on camera. I'll lift you up a little bit so you see on camera.
Oh, he's got a big purr on.
There we go. That's Bob.
Hello mate, you're going to help us in the garden. He's supervising today. So the next job is not the most exciting because we can't plant yet. The next job is to finish off the wheelbarrows of compost and earth and bark on the last terrace.
Yep.
And I think we get all of that finished.
Yep.
And then also off camera you can see maybe behind me that pile there, which is 3 wheelbarrows full of chicken manure, well rotted, ready to go on the garden. I'm going to keep bringing that up. That's going to be randomly sprinkled on the beds to build up the organic matter, as it's the first time growing here since obviously Frank dug it all over. So let's go on to the barrows.
Yay! Yay.
So the first tree to go in the new garden is an almond, and he's going in line with the twin olives and the oak at the end, and he's going to get very, very big. So I think probably a little bit that way, or maybe not. There's a boulder here, so it might depend. So that's boulder, boulder. That's the end of that then, isn't it? So yeah, it's a no-go here, I think. Yeah, no, rock hard. For sakes. So thwarted. Couldn't put me almond trees at the back there because of granite, which is about that far down. And then the next job was to put a fence along here from the end to the beginning, which was kind of like a half, like maybe put the bores off kind of thing, which wouldn't have made a difference, but it would have ended the garden. No go again, too much granite, so no fence post. Got the first fence post in there, can get another one in way down there, but nothing here at all. It's like this deep, so that's also going to give us problems with trees at that end. So we can plant trees at this end, but probably not at that end. So challenging off-grid nursery gardening. planted all our main trees, so I thought we'd have a walk round, the two of us, and show you what we've planted. So we've got a Avori, which is an orange, and it's supposedly a big orange. And then we've got a gooseberry. We've got another orange. This one is a Baia, B-A-I-A, worth making a note.
Two red raspberries.
Yep, nice. And then another orange, could be Navaliada, it's terrible writing, but another orange. And then two yellow raspberries.
Very nice.
And then nothing planted in the second bed yet, so we go up to the second terrace. And then we've got the local apple tree that Missy told about earlier, so it's my turn to show you my excellent Portuguese. So it's a Macieira Porta da Loja. So a local apple, very sweet. Missy told about that earlier. So this is our apple row now, which is exciting, isn't it? Then we've got red currant, the first of our apples, which is a Granny Smith, another red currant, and another Granny Smith. Nice. And then on the end, slightly taller, different type, but another red currant. And then we have started planting the second bed. So here we've got a pineapple sage. Oh no, I've missed one. Oh, that's exciting. It's a nice pear. Do like a nice pear. And this one is a pear. Which one is it? It's the Williams Red. So Williams Red. Nice. And then a pineapple sage, which Missy grew from cuttings. Lovely. And then we've got a viola that was in the bottom of the pot with a ginkgo. That's correct, isn't it? And then the other pear, which I think is a Roja, yeah, Roja, which is the Portuguese variety. Nice, crispy, but also for me, you can let it get really ripe and it's nice and juicy. And then we're up at the shade level, and you remember these attractive structures are going to have shade netting on the top. Many, many nursery pots on the floor. So we have planted a few things here. We've got two different passion flowers that Missy also mentioned earlier, telling you that we're not a great fan of eating the fruits, but we want the flowers for tea. So we've got two different types, I believe. So we have a Roja, which is a red skin with a kind of gold inside. That one there. And then on the other side, we have a Maracuja Amarelo. Very pretty, quite small. And we're going to train these up here and along the top. That'll be nice. Then we've got stuff that we've yet to plant, but there's more. There is more. If we go back up here, and you'll have seen me cutting the brush out to make room for this lovely plant. This is a tree, and it is the black mulberry. And what's really exciting about that, I was given that as a present by Bruno and Retty the year before last, and it's got very big, had very long roots, and it's finally in the ground. Really excited about growing that into a large berry providing plant. Wonderful plants. So another great week on the Wildlands.
Yes, yeah, we've been going great guns.
And what was that, week 4 of our 40-day homesteading challenge?
Yep, and I have no idea what day it is because they've been on and off.
Yeah, I think it would be about day... I think it's day 17 or 18.
I was going to say 17.
Yeah, we have got it written down so that we keep a check, but it's been protracted because we had Halloween, and we have a Halloween party tomorrow with lots of people coming, so we've had to do extra things like go into town and buy decorations and lots of Halloween food. So really looking forward to that. And then we had a lot of rain. Had an extra day's editing because I wasn't finished in time for last week's video, which ate into this week's time anyway.
So we managed to get all of the trees planted.
We did, and that was one of the things on the list, to get them all planted before the first frost.
Yes, which may be coming in a couple of weeks.
Yep. So next is really exciting, isn't it? What have we got next here?
We're going to plant what we're calling the herbaceous plants. So we're going to have things like comfrey and yarrow planted in big old blocks. That's really what these beds are for, so that we can grow things on and they can spread and get really big and get their roots down deep. And then in a year or 2 years, we can start digging up small chunks, splitting them, putting those in pots, and then they'll be available to buy in the nursery.
Yep.
Because, sorry, I was just going to say, because plants really do prefer to have their roots deep in the ground, get as big as they can. They're not that keen on staying in pots for a long time.
And I'm really excited because the bed behind me, I've got 5 different bananas that I'm basically using as an experiment to see which of the 5, maybe all of them, none of them, but which of them fruit first and whether they fruit, how big they get and how well they deal with the cold in the winter here and the 40 degrees in the summer. The other good thing about that is they're in the ground, so they'll get big, like Missy said, 4 or 5 metres, providing us with shade and biomass.
And they're going to chuck out little pups.
They are, which we can then take out to propagate on to be part of the nursery, which is why it's the nursery beds.
Absolutely.
And also in the end here, where we've got some very shallow beds because they're on boulders, going to put lots of carnas, which again will provide us with food. They'll multiply for selling on in the nursery.
Yep, and you get biomass.
And biomass
to put in your compost.
for a compost bin.
Maybe
up there.
sneak a few leaves over to the chickens.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
So yeah, this area's really come along well.
Yeah. So thanks again for watching on another week on the Wildlands.
And for cheering us on in the comments.
Absolutely, really enjoying your comments. Been lovely, thank you very much.
And we'll see you again soon on the other side of our Halloween party.
With a hangover next week.
Bye.
Bye.